You're taking organic chemistry this fall. It's okay to be scared to death. In fact, it's completely normal. I'd be even more worried if you're not worried. If you think you can just waltz into an organic chemistry class and act like it's the same thing as your other chemistry classes you've taken, you're in for a rude awakening. That being said, it's not impossible, but you 100% have to put the work in and follow this process that I'm about to show you, which will help you identify the gaps that you have in your current chemistry understanding and help you leapfrog ahead of the class and maybe even ahead of your professor at times. The strategy we're going to use is not limited to chemistry. You can use it for any of your classes where you either need to catch up if you're studying for a midterm or a final exam, uh, or as we're doing now, if you want to get ahead and see how quickly you can actually do this. And believe it or not, this strategy, this algorithm, actually comes from computer science, or at least that's where I learned it. And very simple. It's called a binary search algorithm. And if you need to quickly find something within a database, this is what you do. Cool. So let's implement this thing. I call this where's the gap test. So this in particular for when you're reviewing concepts. So if you're like, look, I barely made it through general chemistry, I need to do a little refresher, you can apply this retroactively to the stuff you've already done. Uh, so I'm going to be looking at this retroactively for myself for organic chemistry, but just know that you can apply this for your old chemistry classes, or you can use this for getting ahead, and I'll explain how we'll do it. Here's the methodology we're going to go through. Here is my organic chemistry syllabus. So again, if you're going back into your stuff, you can use an old syllabus, or if you would like this syllabus and actually would like to get ahead, I will get you a link to this whole exercise that we're going through so that you can seamlessly hit the ground running as soon as your semester starts. So if you'll notice here, this syllabus has both a lecture schedule and select problems for each chapter that are recommended as a starting point for your studying. What we're going to look at here is the lecture schedule. So you can see there's 42 classes, 3 times a week, 14 weeks. And chapters 1 through 13. So here's how the binary search algorithm is going to work. So rather than go purely chronologically, we're going to do a little bit of a mixture here. So we're going to go to chapter 13, which is the last chapter before it gets into Orgo 2 material. And so my recommendation is that you pick a challenging problem from this chapter, and I'll say limit it to these ones for now, the ones that are in this guy. I will also have a link to the textbook PDF. You're welcome. So when you get to that problem, we're going to try and answer it. So not only are you just going to try and solve it, but you're going to analyze or annotate your own actual solving process to say, okay, what parts of this question do I understand fully? Even if it's just a couple pieces of terminology, what is crystal clear that I actually understand? What's a little bit here, a little bit there, and what is I don't even understand what they're talking about. Not only would I not know how to solve it, but I don't even understand what the words mean. So anyways, once you've analyzed those things, these 4 and 5 are kind of in the micro. You can go back into the chapter and clarify what is, as this thing says here, vague or unknown, just to clarify those small points. And then you can retest it, or even better, try and teach it to somebody else. Major hack right there. So what we're going to do, say you have no idea from one of these chapter 13 problems, then what do? The binary search algorithm says you find the midpoint, and I'll say you can either go midpoint of chronology, meaning the class number, you can go from class 42 to 21, or in the case of chapter 1 to 13, you can go to the middle of the chapters. So that would be chapter 7. So either of those kind of takes us to the end of chapter
end of chapter 7 for our next point of analysis here. So then you do the same thing. Go to chapter 7 and test yourself there. And what you're looking for is to find the point at which your understanding is rock solid. And look, if you're doing this for the organic chemistry, if you're trying to get ahead and you have no idea what's going on, you're gonna find your way back to chapter 1, don't you worry. But what this allows you to do is get a quick lay of the land and see what is coming up ahead. Again, in a really quick way. So, but the goal of this is to find where you're on solid ground. So again, if you're trying to go then backwards into your previous class to say, look, where did I falter there? Where do I need to get a little bit more solid? You can use this as well. So if you are continuing to be shaky, then you skip backward yet again. So we said that we're at chapter 7. Let's say now, for the sake of this, lecture 23. So then the midpoint between lecture 23 and lecture 1 would be lecture 12. So that would be the end of chapter 5. So you see there, then there's more lectures here on 4, 5, and 6 than there were for 1 and 2. That's why we're ending up at 5 instead of, say, chapter 4 for between 1 and 7. So end of chapter 5, do the same thing. Pick a problem towards the end. If you still have no idea what's going on, again, to be expected if you're doing this for organic chemistry. But then what if you are doing this for one of your old classes, you will find a point that at which you're like, okay, I understand what's going on, then I can go forward. So let's just say, for example, that you are solid on chapter 5. So now we're to go between end of chapter 5 and end of chapter 7, you would go end of chapter 6 and do the same thing. And then if you're saying, okay, now I'm good on chapter 6 as well, then what you can do is you can start at the beginning of chapter 7 and work your way forward and rebuild your solid foundation of understanding. Because look, college life is crazy, and for whatever reason, you may not be as solid on certain things. So, this process allows you to quickly identify and pinpoint where you need to spend your energy on so that you're not, just for the sake of it, reading through the entire textbook front to back or back to front, but front to back, and say, finally, I get to this. So some of you may even do this intuitively of say, okay, let me check here, let me check there, and you find your way to the middle. But this algorithm allows you to have a succinct but powerful methodology at finding exactly where you need to spend your energy. Okay, so what else? Again, if you're still shaky, keep moving further back, and you can apply this logic over the course of, say, you have a Gen Chem 1 and Gen Chem 2 that you want to quickly review, and that's your window. You have beginning of Gen Chem 1 to end of Gen Chem 2. You go to end of Gen Chem 2 and say, okay, I have no idea what's going on here. You can go to then the end of Gen Chem 1 or the beginning of Gen Chem 2, let's say. Look there and you say, okay, I'm solid there. Let's go halfway, middle of the semester. Oh yeah, I got sick during that midterm. Let me review here a little bit more. Or whatever that individual case may be for you, let that let this process guide your process going forward. And again, once you're solid, then you can start building it up. So what is this point indicating? Decide depth versus speed depending on the context. Are you do you have an exam tomorrow, in which case you may not have the time to do kind of this slow, deliberate, deep, long-term understanding, versus if you're in the summer and you're, again, either trying to get ahead or try to get caught up, and you have a little bit more time, you can spend a little bit more time. So that's just saying, obviously, depending on your current circumstance, you can take more or less time at either of these stages. And if you'd like, I can put some of these example problems uh, linked for you to take a look at in in the document that you'll get. And again, just make sure to check that in the description. I'm in the process of working on a full organic chemistry acing guide for you. So if you want if you want to get on the wait list for that, again, in addition to all the resources we talked about in this video, if you click the link below, I'll make sure to get in contact with you, or you can get in contact with me. And I will talk to you soon. And we will get you not only caught up, but ahead and confident, and get you ready for whatever the next steps are. Or if you just want to crush this class, if you want to get a great GPA, whatever your goals are, we'll get in contact and see if it's a good fit to work together. All right. Peace. Much love.